Dear students, I welcome you all. Today I am going to talk about Mycoplasma, an interesting group of bacteria. Mycoplasma are the smallest self-replicating prokaryotes measuring 0.15 to 0.30 micrometers in size. The Mycoplasma is a genus of bacteria which lack cell wall. The mycoplasmal cell is externally bounded by a trilaminar cell membrane which is having rich content of cholesterol, which gives a rigidity to the cell membrane. The membranes of mycoplasmal cells are composed of 1/3 lipid and 2/3 protein like other prokaryotes. When we talk about the content of or the composition of lipids in mycoplasmal membranes, they resemble other bacteria in their composition, but the content of cholesterol in mycoplasma is very high, and this accounts for the fact why these mycoplasmal cells require so much of citrol in their growth medium. Inside the cell membrane, the mycoplasmal cells contain ribosomes and nucleolide, which is the center of activity, which contains DNA and RNA. When we talk about the shape of mycoplasmal cells or mycoplasmas, they are pleomorphic owing to the fact that the lack of a cell wall lends morphological plasticity or morphological flexibility to the mycoplasmal cells, because of which they take different shapes. I mean, they take multiple shapes. The phenomena is called as pleomorphism. So, the morphology of or the shape of mycoplasmal cells is they are called as pleomorphic cells, or we say that they do have multiple shapes. Bacteria do have structures of mobility in the form of cilia and flagella, but we do not encounter such structures in mycoplasma. So, we say that mycoplasma are non-motile and non-fimbriated. Owing to the lack of a cell wall and the smaller size of mycoplasma, mycoplasma show a unique phenomena, that is, they are not retained by bacterial filters. They share this trait with viruses, because viruses are also not retained by bacterial filters, and this is the reason why they were conceived to be as viruses. Mycoplasma are osmotically very fragile. When they are exposed to hypotonic conditions, they undergo lysis or osmotic shock. That is why they prefer to grow in hypertonic and isotonic growth conditions. Going back to the genome of mycoplasma, mycoplasma are the minimal life forms. They do have a characteristic prokaryotic genome consisting of a circular double-stranded DNA molecule. The genome of mycoplasma is very small. It is almost 1/6 that of E. coli, which is another bacteria. During course of evolution, mycoplasmas have lost very good fraction of their genome. They do have smaller amount of gene content as compared to other bacteria. The mycoplasmas are the smallest known prokaryotes. We do also have smaller genome in the bacteria or in the living system. The smallest known genome is found in Mycoplasma genitalium, whose genome consists of 5,80,070 base pairs, having a total of 470 coding regions, which include genes for DNA replication, translation, DNA repair, cellular transport, and energy metabolism. The mycoplasma do not have a well defined metabolic system. They lack many enzymes in their metabolic activity. They do not have full enzyme system for the synthesis of amino acids and the degradation, and also of some other metabolites. This is the reason why they need such diverse metabolites from the medium or the host on which they grow. Because of this inability to synthesize all the metabolites, they have evolved a parasitic or saprophytic mode of nutrition. When we talk about the energy metabolism in mycoplasma, they do have a truncated respiratory system. they do have their membrane or their respiratory system is lacking quinones and cytochromes. The one more evidence of the incompleteness and simplicity of their electron transport system is that the reduced NADH oxidase activity is cytoplasmic. It means that they do not have a well organized and complex electron transport system. ATP generating system in mycoplasma is not oxidative phosphorylation. There are two prone ways of ATP formation in mycoplasma, and both depend on substrate level of phosphorylation. When we talk about substrate level phosphorylation, it is arginine which acts as the source of energy for these mycoplasmas. Mycoplasma, they do have two pathways of ATP generation by substrate level phosphorylation. In the first, arginine serves as a source for the formation of ATP. Arginine undergoes deamination and forms citrulline, which then reacts with inorganic phosphate to form ornithine and carbamoyl phosphate. Then carbamoyl phosphate, it donates this phosphorus to ADP, forming ATP. One more pathway of ATP generation in mycoplasma is through acetyl coenzyme A, which is obtained through pyruvate in the glycolysis. When we talk of acetyl coenzyme A serving as an energy source, the reaction is acetyl coenzyme A reacts with phosphate, forming acetyl phosphate. Then this acetyl phosphate directly donates this phosphorus to ADP, forming ATP. There are some mycoplasma which derive their energy by the oxidation of glucose and urea. Mycoplasma are parasitic on a wide range of hosts, including humans, animals, plants, and insects, causing disease in them. In humans, mycoplasma exists in parasitic association with the ciliate epithelial cells of respiratory tract and genital tract, causing surface infections in them and diseases in these organs also. In the mycoplasma, pneumonia infects the respiratory tract of humans, causing pneumonia. Mycoplasma hominis causes pyelonephritis and also pelvic inflammatory disease. When we talk of Mycoplasma genitalium, it causes urinary tract infection and non-gonococcal urethritis. In plants, mycoplasma are responsible for hundreds of diseases. In mycoplasma cause witch's broom diseases, which is characterized by hormonal disorders, witch's broom growth, virescence, phyllidae, intensified negative geotropism, and disturbed periodicity. Mycoplasma also cause phloem degeneration, which causes typical growth reduction, and then also it causes discoloration and ultimately wilting and premature death of the plants. The diseases Aspergillo, Pierre decline, and elm necrosis are also ascribed to mycoplasma. How these mycoplasmas they behave to antibiotic treatments? Mycoplasmas, unlike viruses, are susceptible to antibiotics, but since they lack a cell wall, they are not treated by antibiotics like penicillin, which do have a cell wall targeting mode of action or mechanism of action. Since they lack cell wall, we need to treat them with antibiotics which do have different mode of action. For example, if we talk of tetracycline, they are known to inhibit protein synthesis in bacteria and also in mycoplasmas. These are the antibiotics of choice which can be used for treating mycoplasmal infections in humans and animals. When we talk of humans or when we talk of Mycoplasma pneumoniae, it is transmitted through respiratory droplets which are inhaled when a person comes in close contact with a symptomatic person or an infected person. Mycoplasma genitalium is transmitted through genital contact. In plants, pathogenic mycoplasma are restricted in the sieve tubes of phloem, which contains the cell photosynthetic sap, which is the food for many phloem feeding insects. When an insect feeds on an infected phloem or infected plant, then it takes these mycoplasmal agents in their proboscis and once they move to a healthy plant for feeding, they transmit these mycoplasmas to the healthy plant. This is the way how mycoplasmas are transmitted in plants through insects. One important mode of reproduction in bacteria is binary fission, where the parent cell is split into two cells. But here the mycoplasma show slight modification. At times cytokinesis does not follow genome replication, as a result of which a multinucleotide filamentous structure is formed, which later on gets separated and results into multiple cells. So this is the way how mycoplasmas are produced. One more important aspect of mycoplasma is their culturing. You know, mycoplasmas are parasitic or saprophytic organisms requiring diverse metabolites from the host. So that this is the reason why mycoplasmas are very difficult to cultivate in media or in culture. When we talk of cultivable mycoplasmas, the two significant examples are Mycoplasma pneumoniae and Mycoplasma gentianum, but both grow very poorly on the in vitro media. Here, when we talk of the media for growing mycoplasma, the media should contain serum, which becomes the source for cholesterol and fatty acids for membrane synthesis. It should also have a hot infusion. It should have peptone, yeast extract, sugars or arginines as energy source. When we talk about the genome of mycoplasma, they are characterized by a low GC content, which means guanine cytosine content, which ranges from 18 to 40%. In Mycoplasma pneumonia, the GC content is 32%, while as in Mycoplasma mycoides, it is 18%. When we talk of the bacteria in the bacteria kingdom, which do have a low GC content, the division is Firmicutes. So Firmicutes are the gram positive bacteria which do have a very low GC content. On this basis, having a low GC content, mycoplasma are placed under a division Firmicutes. When we talk of Firmicutes, they are gram positive walled bacteria. They do have a class called as Mollicutes, which stands for soft skin. So all those bacteria which lack a cell wall, they are placed in the class Mollicutes. This Mollicutes is having an important order called as Mycoplasmatales, with a single family called as Mycoplasmataceae, which is having two genera, Mycoplasma and Ureaplasma. Mycoplasma, they require strollus for growth, while as Ureaplasma, they require urea for their growth. So the systematic position for Mycoplasma is division Firmicutes, class Mollicutes, order Mycoplasmatales, family Mycoplasmataceae, and genus Mycoplasma, characterized by lacking cell wall. When we talk about the phylogeny of mycoplasmas, it poses some eccentric questions. One, are they the descendants of primitive bacteria which existed before the peptidoglycan wall got synthesized in bacteria, or do they represent the reduced bacterial forms which have lost their wall during course of evolution? There are evidences which suggest that they are the reduced bacterial forms which have lost their cell wall during course of evolution. The evidence comes from 16S ribosomal RNA analysis, which shows that these mycoplasmas, they have evolved from gram positive bacteria through degenerative evolution. Here in degenerative evolution, because mycoplasmas during course of evolution, they have lost the genes of amino acid metabolism, they have lost the genes of peptidoglycan biosynthesis. That is why mycoplasmas lack a cell wall. Workers who have spotted the evolution of mycoplasmas from eubacterial forms or from gram positive walled bacteria, it is Wu Sital who says that these lines or these mycoplasmal forms are evolutionary very much related to Clostridia, especially two Clostridium species. It is Clostridium ramosum and Clostridium inocum. although most of the people they support the monophyletic origin of mycoplasmas, but there is one more school of thought which believe that mycoplasma are polyphyletic in their origin. They have evolved from multiple ancestors. Their theory is based on the fact that this group of mycoplasmas or this genus is showing tremendous morphological variability or plasticity. Voss upholds his monophyletic theory and says that in mycoplasma this variability can be attributed to the to rapid evolution, which is characteristic of this group. When we talk about the stop codon UGA, it normally acts as a stop codon in all living systems, but in mycoplasma it encodes tryptophan, which is also seen in some non-plant mitochondria where this UGA codes for the amino acid. The mycoplasmal RNA polymerase is resistant to rifampicin antibiotic because the other RNA polymerases found in other bacteria are very much sensitive to this antibiotic. This does not mean that mycoplasmas are resistant to all antibiotics. No, there is a very diverse group of antibiotics which are used for treating mycoplasmal infections and mycoplasma related diseases. Dear students, now we know that mycoplasmas are smallest known prokaryotes, self-replicating prokaryotes. They are wall-less bacteria having multiple shapes, or can pass through the bacterial filters, are osmotically very fragile. They belong to class molecules. They are resistant to penicillin, but can be treated by other antibiotics which can inhibit protein synthesis in mycoplasmas. There are other aspects of phylogeny and culture, in vitro culture, which now we should be able to know. Dear students, in today's lecture we discussed about general structure of mycoplasma, morphology of mycoplasmas, their transmission, their treatment, their pathogenicity, phylogeny and molecular biology. Hope you might have followed my lecture. Thank you.